Hare Krishna, everyone. So today we are going to see the summary of chapter 6. Yesterday, what did we do? Advancing in Ashtanga Yoga 6.1 to 6.9, Samabuddhir Vishishyate. Stages of Ashtanga Yoga practice we did. Rahasi Sthitati. Why control mind? Abhyasena tu kaunteya. Destination of unsuccessful yogi. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe. Bhakti Yogi was the topmost yoga. By the end of the chapter, Krishna declared Bhakti Yoga is the topmost. So let's see, in the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad-Gita, living entity was described as spirit soul, right? Capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. By the end of 6th chapter, it was very clearly stated that the mind concentration has to be only on Krishna. In other words, we have to be in Krishna consciousness. That was, it's the highest form of yoga. So by concentrating our mind on Krishna, we are able to find out the absolute truth. Otherwise, it's not possible. That's what it is stated by the end of chapter. That's what is given. So in this chapter 7 now, today, it is Jnana Vijnana Yoga, knowledge of the absolute. So we will be looking into the knowledge of Krishna's energies, surrendering unto Krishna, and demigod worship, and impersonalism, and delusion in devotion. So in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is completely described. How is Krishna? Like Krishna is in full opulences, all opulences. And we will see 4 kinds of fortunate people, lucky people, who become attached to Krishna, and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna consciousness. We are going to look into those. We did Karma Yoga, we have done Jnana Yoga. Yesterday in chapter 6, we have done Ashtanga Yoga also. So today we are going to do Jnana Vijnana Yoga, knowledge of the absolute. So there, what kind of knowledge we have? We have 2 types of knowledge. One is spiritual knowledge. It is permanent knowledge. And there is material knowledge, which is temporary knowledge. For example, if there is a PhD, or if he is a scholar, or he's a scientist, maybe if he dies, for example, he passes away, will his knowledge carry on in the next life? No. In the next life, he has to start all over again, right? He has to start fresh from nursery onwards. That is temporary knowledge. It is also called apara vidya, means less, inferior. But spiritual knowledge that you're getting will never diminish. In the next life also, you will continue from where you stop. That is permanent knowledge, or paravidya, right? But some still, we have a lot of desires, right? We have material desires. We surrender to Devatas, and who will give us temporary relief, temporary material benefits or prosperity. But Devatas also get their power from Krishna. So what is the best way, best path that Krishna tells us? Surrender to him directly. Sri Krishna is confirming that in this chapter, that he is the ultimate truth. He is the highest authority. He has got all the divine attributes, like he is omnipotent. Omnipotent, omni means all, right? It has come from a Latin word, all. Potent means powerful. He is omnipresent. Omni means all, present everywhere. So he's present everywhere. And his omniscience means he knows everything. Nescience means ignorant. Science means knowing. So in 7.1 shloka in this chapter, Krishna is asking Arjuna to listen to him very, very attentively. So let's see. Let's listen. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjan Madashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Yathajnasyasi Tachruno.
Now, hear, O son Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt.
So at the end of 6th chapter, it was clearly stated, right, that Krishna consciousness is the highest yoga. Therefore, Lord is telling Arjuna, Tat Chruno. meaning listen to me. So there is no more greater than Krishna. So whoever is getting the privilege of hearing from him, naturally, he will be completely Krishna consciousness. So therefore, we should either listen from Krishna or from a pure devotee of Krishna. So in Bhagavad Purana also it is written that once we develop devotion, we are free from these modes of Rajogun and Tamogun. So we will stop running after these material things, and our greeds and wants, all of these that we have, slowly it will be reduced. So the moment it is reduced and the contamination is removed, we slowly settle down in the mode of goodness and sattva gun. And we start receiving some kind of energy because we are chanting every day, we are doing devotional service. So through devotion, we receive energy. Slowly we will understand. Slowly we'll understand Bhagavad Tattva. So Krishna is explaining about Jnana and Vijnana in the next shloka. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshamya sheshatah yajñatva neha bhuyo nyat jnatavyam avashishyate.
I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, but phenomenal and numinous, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known.
So he wants to explain the system of knowledge. Because why? Because Arjuna is Krishna's very good devotee and very good friend. Now, what is Jnana? It is knowledge. Jnana means knowledge. So how do you learn? We learn by, we apply our mind, senses and intellect, and we learn. That is Jnana. So now what is Vijnana? You know all Vijnana, right? In contrast, Vijnana is wisdom, right? It is the knowledge gained through experiential realization, experiment, Vijnana. An example to explain is like Srila Prabhupada had told that there is a honey in a glass sealed jar, sealed, it's not open, sealed jar. And we have heard that honey has the sweetest taste that is incomparable to any other sweet. But unless we open the jar and taste it, we will not get the experiential realization of its sweetness, right? We won't understand. So that is Vijnana. So we have to see, we have to open it and taste it. Then we understand what it is. Likewise, Guru will give us Jnana, which is theoretical knowledge, right, of the scriptures. Yet, unless and until we practice sadhana as per the Jnana that has been given to us by the Guru, we won't be able to understand. And what will it happen once we get the Jnana from the Guru and we are practicing through Vijnana? Then it will purify our mind. Only then the Vijnana through self-realization, it will be attained, right? So in this verse, Lord Krishna is confirming to Arjuna that he will impart, he will give a theoretical knowledge, Jnana, regarding his personality. He will also tell about the required wisdom, Vijnana. Once this knowledge is given, the Jnana is given, there will be nothing remaining to know, right? Jnana and Vijnana is going to tell. So in the next verse, he will tell about the spiritual perfection. He talks about it. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidyatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschinmam vetti tatvatah.
Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth.
Look at the picture now. What is happening? Can anyone tell me, looking at the picture? What is happening?
I think
the marathon is happening.
Yeah, marathon, right? People are running. So many people are running. So what will happen in the end? So many people are running. Normally what happens in a marathon?
Some of them got tired.
Some of them are tired and
some of
them may achieve their goal.
So they will reach the finish line, right? But
yes,
there will be one winner, one. Not everyone can be the first person, right, to finish the race. So there will be some who will be tired, some will give up, some will keep running, some will be slow, some will be fast, and there will be a person who will be declared a winner, right? Do you agree? So Srila
Yes, ma'am.
Prabhupada also in his purport, he is explaining, out of thousands of human beings, it is probably a very rare person who is interested to know what is soul, what is body, what is ultimate truth. Human beings are generally engaged in all these animal instincts, like what? Food. We are worried about food, we are worried about sleep, we have fear. Hardly anyone is interested in divine knowledge. So far what we have understood, that Krishna is the cause of all causes. We have learned, and I have told you in about from Brahma Samhita also, that he is the causes of all causes. He is the cause of all causes, and he is Adi Purush, Govinda. Like Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. We know that very well. That he is the cause of all causes. He is the Adi Purush. Now, it is very difficult for non-devotees to know him. They can never understand him like Yashodanandan or Parthasarathi. They don't understand that. Sometimes even great deities, they get confused about Krishna. They say, Muhyanti Yat Suryaha. We have Brahma Vimohana Leela. Brahma also doesn't recognize when Krishna is very small. I don't know whether you people have heard about that story or not. Anyone knows that story? Brahma Vimohana Leela? I'll share it with you.
I know the story.
Can you
Yes,
tell in
ma'am, I
short,
also.
2-3 lines?
Sorry, ma'am.
Can you tell in 2-3 lines, just short?
Okay, ma'am. Actually, Lord Brahma was confused that whether the little Krishna was incarnation of Lord Vishnu or not. And at that time, Lord Krishna was playing with his mates, with his friends in Vrindavan. Then Brahma went there to test that whether he is actually the incarnation of Vishnu or not. Then Lord Brahma stole some of his friends and kept them in his planet. But Krishna knew everything. So Krishna made many selves of him in the forms of his friend, and they all went to home. But after, I think after 1 year, Lord Brahma returned again, and he see that all the boys of Vrindavan, they all were present. Then Lord Brahma saw that there are so many Brahmas, and then he surrendered to Krishna. Then Krishna advised him that you are the Brahma, you are the creator of one planet, one system, and I have invited the creators of all the planets, all the systems.
Yes.
And then Brahma realized his
Understood.
mistake.
Yes, very nice, very nice. He's not, Krishna came on his own. He is not incarnation of Vishnu. He is an expansion. Vishnu is an expansion. Krishna came on in his own original transcendental form. So that is one thing I wanted to just tell you. So how is it, from that we come to know, right, that very difficult to understand. Most of them don't even know, non-devotees don't even know that. So how is it that even perfected souls are unable to know God? What is the reason? It is reason because without bhakti or without loving devotion, it is not possible to know Krishna or realize Krishna. Those who are practicing like karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, cannot know God unless they have to include bhakti or devotion in their practice. Do all this, but bhakti is important. So Lord Krishna has stated in this verse that only one among numerous thousands of people come to know him in truth. And Lord Krishna has stated this fact several times in Bhagavad-Gita, in many shlokas. You can see 8.22, where he has said, Purushasya parah partha bhaktya labhyasta tvananyaya. He means Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. And he also said that in chapter 11, he said, Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya ahamevam vidorjuna. He tells Arjuna that only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. In 18th chapter also he will tell, Bhaktya mamabhijanati yavanyashchasmi tatvataha. So he will tell over there, only one can understand me as I am, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, like Krishna, only by devotional service. So he's told many times in Bhagavad Gita What more proof do we want? In the next verse, he moves on to describe his material dimensions of his energy. Let's see that one. Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme vinna prakritirashtadha.
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these eight comprise my separated material energies.
Is very clearly told. Matter is considered as God's energy called Prakriti, right? It is further divided into 8 forms. He has said body is made up of 5 elements. He has very clearly said it is earth, water, fire, air, ether, right? Of these, first 5 are gross elements, right? Then we also have mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are subtle, subtle energies. All 8 together form material energy of the God. In this verse, he is stating that all these 8 elements are simply their parts of Maya, the material energy. In the next verse, what he will tell about his superior energy, the soul energy. Let's see that. Apareyam mitastvanyam prakritim viddhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharate jagat.
Beside this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind, which are all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe.
See, what is he explaining here? He is explaining the eightfold Prakriti, right? The material energy, which he says is inferior. Then there is another energy which is far more superior. This energy is completely transcendental as compared to the lifeless matter. See, it is his spiritual energy, the Jiva Shakti, which includes all the living souls in the world, right? The spiritual energy. So, what do we understand? There are 3 entities. What is that? One is matter, the body, right? Made up of 5 elements. It is perishable, it's gone, it will go away. Then there is individual soul, which is imperishable. It will never die, it cannot be broken, it cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt. We learned about that. Then there is third, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the controller of both the matter, this body, and the soul, which is inside, right? He is the controller of both. So by meditating upon God, uniting him with him, we can become more like him. The soul is free from, it will become free from this Maya, this illusion. We have to do that. We have to disconnect with Maya, but it's not so easy. So what does he say? एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणि त्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा.
Of all that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution.
Look at the picture. So many bubbles. It looks like bubbles, right? There are numerous universes. And ours is just one of them. So many. Everything that exists is the product of this matter, this body, and the spirit. Living beings, they are manifestations of God's 2 energies, right? One is the soul energy, the soul, and the second one is Maya, the material energy. So here in this material realm, all life, whatever you see, is the combination of both the matter and the soul together, right? Now, matter or the dead body by itself is lifeless. You see a dead body, there is no soul, suppose, what happens? The body will move? No, it's lifeless. And the soul also needs a body, right? So the body needs a soul, the soul needs a body. Did you understand this much? So both come together to form a living being. The body needs a soul, the soul needs a body. So both come together, they become a living being. This much we have understood so far, right? So the material body, it is developed because the soul is present in it. What are the symptoms? How do we know there is a soul in the body or not? It means that the growth, the child is growing. There is a baby, then the child grows, he becomes a boy, then he becomes a man, because there is soul in it, because there is a superior energy, the spirit soul is present. If the soul is not there, the body will not grow, right? It's a dead body. So we live, the living entity, we may as humans may build a big huge building, huge factory, huge skyscraper, we can build everything. but we cannot be the cause of this big universe, can we? So who is it? There has to be somebody, right? The cause of the big universe is the big soul. Who is that? The super soul, the Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the cause. He is the cause of both big and small souls, everything. So Lord Sri Krishna states that his supreme position in this universe, he is the creator, he is the sustainer, he is the destroyer also, annihilator also, right? So how he is telling, there is a bead. Mattav parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva.
O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung on a thread.
Pearls strung on a thread. So similar to beads, the pearls strung in the thread, if it is strung in a thread, what happens? The beads can move on its own, right? It will move there, but it cannot come off. It can move in its place. Same way, the analogy, the comparison has been given. God has given the individual souls the free will to act. There we can act little bit. We are independent. That way, individual souls are free to act as they wish. Yet, their existence is bound. It's tied. You can't just get out of that. It is still bound, but you can move there. So now what is this? These are beads, right? What is holding these beads? Can anyone tell me? Something is holding it, right?
Thread.
Thread. But can you see the thread? Can you see the thread?
It
We
is hidden.
cannot see the thread over there, but there is thread inside. That is the pearls we can see outside, but inside there is a thread. We cannot see the thread, but thread is there, right? So otherwise, if the thread is not there, all the beads will fall off or separate, right? Same way, someone is holding the universe together. Someone is making the sun to rise, the moon to set. All these planets are in its own place. Who is doing this? There is someone greater who is doing this, but we cannot see him. Why? Because we don't have the quality to see him. We don't have. If the thread is broken, what will happen? The beads will all scatter. Same way, if Krishna is not there, everything will scatter. Just because we cannot see him doesn't mean he is not there. It's only that we cannot see him. Like, for example, if it's a cloudy day outside, we cannot see the sun, right? Can we see the sun then if there are too many clouds? No, we can't. But does that mean that there is no sun? The sun is there. Only thing we cannot see it because it's covered with clouds. We also have total dust. We can't see. We don't have those divine eyes to see Krishna. Same way. But if we want to see Krishna, what do we need? We have to have love for Krishna, right? Just for the lack of example I have, let me tell you that you have a topmost person. You are in maybe in the universities or in the office. There'll be a topmost person, right? Or a dean of the university or a CEO of a factory or a company, right? Is there anyone superior to the CEO? No, right? In the university, dean is the top. In the factory, CEO is the top. You don't have anybody bigger than him. Similarly, there is no one superior or equal to Krishna. No one. He is the topmost. That's what we is trying to explain here. Raso hamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranava sarva vedeshu shabdah ke paurusham rushu.
O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon. The syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, I am the sound in ether and ability in man.
He's telling, I'm the taste of it. In Sri Krishna, he told in previous verse, right? That he is the origin, sustainer. He is the basis of everything that exists in the world. Now he continues to explain further now. He's explaining everything in 4 verses. 7.8 to 7.11, he is going to tell that he is everything. We will come to understand that there is nothing that way in which he is not there. Does anyone know any mantra which starts with Om? He is the syllable Om, he says. So anybody knows any mantra with Om?
Gayatri mantra.
What is that?
Om Bhur Bhuvat Swaha Om
Yeah.
Tat
Any other
Saviturennyam.
Om?
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Any other Om?
Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Namah
Namah
Shivaya. Yes, Om.
Om and Green Clean Chamundai Viche.
Very nice. Any other Om?
Om Shanti. Shanti.
Very nice. So,
Ma'am, there is a Sai, Mataji, there is a Sai Baba mantra that starts with Om.
what is that?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Amrita Vakya Varshaya, Sakara Loka Pujitaya, Sarvadosha Nivaranaya, Shiladi Vasaya, Sai Nataya Namaha.
Very nice. Very nice. So there is Om in everywhere. But why is there no Om in Hare Krishna? Because Krishna himself is Om. He says here very clearly, he's saying, O son of Kunti Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, and syllable Om in Vedic mantra. I am syllable Om in Vedic mantra. What more proof do we want? He is himself telling in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna is Om. He's already there in Hare Krishna, right? Krishna is Om. Krishna is equal to Om. You know maths, right? If Krishna is equal to Om, Hare Krishna, you have how many times Krishna do you have in Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. How many? 4 times. That is why there are no rules for chanting Hare Krishna. Because if there is Om in any mantra, normally if there is Om in any mantra, they say you have to follow proper rules and regulations, and some niyamas are there. You have to take bath and all. So that is why Krishna is Om. So we are clear about it here, right? Now we talk about I am the taste of water. He says water. Now in science, what did we learn? We have learned that water is odorless, water is colorless, water is tasteless, but the water is not really having taste. In spiritual sense, it has taste. Let's say we put some solid food on the dry tongue. Tongue is dry. We put some solid food, okay? Will you get any taste? No. Only when the saliva, the water, the saliva in the mouth touches it, it dissolves the part of the solid, then we get the taste, right? As perceived by the tongue, by the buds, taste buds on the tongue. Till then, we don't know. Same way, after all, who can separate the taste of water from water? That is what Sri Krishna is saying. He says, I am the taste in water, right? So, for example, you are tired, you came from outside, you run, you go inside the house, you tell mom, give me some water. She gives you milk. Will that quench your thirst? No.
No.
Only till you drink that water, you cannot quench your thirst. And then after that, what do you feel? You feel so blissful, right? So Krishna says, I am the taste of water, right? So next time, whenever you're drinking water, please remember Krishna, because he is the taste of water. He is the syllable Om. He is sun. He is the moon. He is Om. We see Krishna everywhere. He is the ultimate source. Let's see what all he is. See, Krishna is taste in water. He is the light in the moon or sun. He is Pranava Om mantra in the Vedic mantras, right? We have so many Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya, right? He is the sound in ether. He is mild and pure fragrance in the of the earth. He is the bright radiance in the fire of the flame. He is the life force. He is the life force of all living creatures, right? Have you ever thought why some people are more intelligent than others? I have thought many times why some people are more intelligent. Why do they have more brilliance than in their thoughts and ideas, you know? Due to God's grace. Not everyone is made equally intelligent, right? For example, like we have Bill Gates. Bill Gates changed the whole course of information technology, right? With his Windows operating system, Windows OS. He made it so user-friendly. People like me, I find it so easy to use. It could be only through God's plan. God develops one such person's intellect when he wants to save us from all kinds of chaos. For example, there's so many examples I can give actually. But let's continue here. He's serene, he's sublime, he's having strength in people, right? To successfully fulfill their duties and responsibility. Sri Krishna is mentioned in the last one, sex life. He says that within the institution of marriage, when sexual activity is undertaken for the procreation, for babies, procreation means babies, in line with scriptural injunctions, you follow proper scripture and then you have, it is virtuous. But if it is only for pleasure, then it is like anything like beastly, animalistic, and nothing else. Like animals also do the same. There's no difference between animals and human life then. That's what Krishna is saying. Sex life, but not contrary to religious principles. Let's move on. So he is in everything. That much we have known. Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasastamasascha ye matta eveti tan vidhi natvam teshu te mai.
All states of being, be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am, in one sense, everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of this material nature.
Material nature. In this verse, Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is summing up his glories, right? He has told everything so far. He has described about, in 4 verses, he told, I am everything. Now he says, Arjun, I have explained, right? I am the essence of all objects. Even though the whole creation originates from me, I am beyond this creation. I am independent of it. It's not that I am a part of it. I am independent of it. त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैः एभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम्.
Deluded by 3 modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible.
He is all knowing, omniscience, right? Lord Krishna. He knows everything. He is aware that the following question will come to Arjuna's mind. If such vibhutis, then why most people forget that Krishna is the supreme creator and control of this whole universe? Why people forget? So Sri Krishna is telling that humans are misled, they are duped, they are confused, they are deluded, they are fooled, they are tricked by these 3 modes of Maya. You can see in the picture. Yellow one, Sattva Guna. The middle one, Rajas Guna, Rajo Guna. And the third one, Tamo Guna. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. They are fooled. They by the Maya, right? And what will Maya do? It tries to lure. It tries to confuses the soul who are already vimukh. Vimukh means they have turned their backs toward God. But by this, what does Maya do? It makes the soul realize that we can never be happy unless we turn towards God. Not Vimukh, but Sanmukh. Sanmukh means towards God. Vimukh means turn your back towards God. So we have to be towards God. Then we can be happy. That's what Maya tells us. Ye chaiva satvika bhavaha rajasastamasascha ye matta eveti tan vidhi natvam teshu te mai. Again, we are doing the same, right?
Yeah, right.
No. I think the second picture came up. That it shows the steps. You see the picture? It is showing how envy, ignorance, anger, false prestige, how the steps are moving ahead, and till the last you can see near Krishna. So that's what I think. Because of the picture, I started reading the shloka again. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mame Vaye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite.
This divine energy of mind, consisting of 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me and can easily cross beyond it.
Difficult. These 3 modes of nature keeps us so confused. If you're drowning, look at the picture. If you're drowning and you look around for help, you see some helicopter coming, you look at, oh my God, okay, somebody is coming towards me. And how will you feel? You are drowning, helicopter is approaching. The moment you see the helicopter, what will you feel? Thank God, somebody has
Relief.
come. I may survive. I may escape the bad time, right? Same way, look at the picture. If Krishna is there with us, he is ready to take our hand. He is giving his hand. If we just hold his hand, we'll be out of this material world. We'll just cross this material world without any problem. It is difficult to cross. But with our love and devotion for Krishna, he will take care of us. That's what this whole shloka tells us, right? Human mind is made up of this Maya, right? So without effort, no one can successfully control the mind. We make it a doubt. Is it impossible to overcome this Maya? I do get this doubt all the time. So second line of this verse confirms it is the answer. Mame vaye prapadyante maya me tam tarantite. Second line has the answer. What does Krishna say? He says, those who surrender themselves to me, then by my grace, they will smoothly cross, tarantite, cross the ocean of material existence. Maya, they can cross this Maya by my grace. So, like I have an example from my life only I can give. I have this fear for dogs, I have this very real fear for dogs, dog phobia, you can say. So whenever I would visit my friend's place, friends' houses, so many had dogs, right? So any of the friends' place who had dog, trained dog, pet dog, I would still be very scared. And when the dog would bark very loudly, out of fear, I would just freeze there. I wouldn't be able to move around, and the dog would remain there, and it will keep snarling at me fiercely, as if it is telling, dare step into this house. What would I do? I would call my friend. I have no choice, right? I would shout my friend's name, come out. And then hearing all the noise and barking and all, she would come out and they would find me standing at the gate like a statue. And I was totally like distressed at looking at the dog. She would then sternly look at the dog and she would say, hey, stop barking. She's my friend. Stop barking. Go inside or sit here. Or sometimes she would put the leash around the collar, right? And she would hold him. On hearing her instructions, the dog would slowly quieten down and silently go inside. After that only I would open the gate and go inside without fear. Till then, I won't even get inside. So why I'm giving this kind of example, for the lack of better example, I gave this example, but why I'm giving you is same way we are in the clutches of Maya, the material energy. Although it is under Krishna, Maya is under Krishna, but it keeps troubling us so that we keep moving towards God. By our own efforts, we cannot defeat, right? Only when we surrender to Krishna, completely to Krishna, by his grace, we can cross the ocean of material existence. If the moment we offer, please, Krishna, Krishna will hold the Maya and we can cross it. If it is so easy to defeat Maya, then why most of us fail? Sri Krishna is going to elaborate this in the next verse. Let's see what he says. Namam dushkritino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayaya apahita jnanaha asuram bhavamashritaha.
Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among the mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
4. So he is giving 4 examples, like what we fail, because in this verse what happens, Krishna is saying that there are 4 categories of people who do not surrender to him. Who are they? Foolish, mudha, dushkritino mudha. Mudha means foolish, hardworking beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits of the labor. They don't for themselves. They just don't want to give anything to Supreme Lord. Typical example I've put in the picture is beast of burden, the ass, right? He's mudha. This is the position of foolish people who do not know for whom they should work, what is lacking. They lack spiritual knowledge. They don't know anything about soul. They don't know anything. They do not realize that the ultimate goal is God realization. They have never heard only about these concepts. They are not aware that we should surrender to God. So they are mudha. So who is the second class of people? He's saying, dushkriti no mudha prapadyante naradhama. Naradhama. Dushkrit means miscreant and naradhama means lowest of mankind. Nara means human, right? Adhama means lowest. So they are the ones who have the knowledge and awareness of what they need to do. Still, they will not do. They are just naradhama. So the example is the story of Jagai and Madai, once chanting the name of Krishna, Nityananda Prabhu was there. He was attacked by Jagai and Madhai, these two people who were drunken state. They had drunk something and they were lying over there. And when he was chanting and he told them to, they immediately attacked him. They threw the Madhai threw an earthen pot at him, at Nityananda Prabhu. And it cut his forehead over here. So at this point, Nityananda Prabhu said to have uttered famous sentence, which I have put it here. I mean, my Bengali may not be that clear. Anybody Bengali can read this. Mere shish kolshir kana, tai bole ke prem debo ne. Am I right? Anybody can read that?
मेरे छिस कोलशीर का ना ताई बोले कि प्रेम देवो ना.
He says like,
Yeah.
shall I stop giving you love because you have hit me with an earthen pot? That's what the translation says. So as soon as Chaitanya, thank you so much for reading that. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard of that episode, he was very angry. He immediately came and he wanted to kill those brothers with his divine chakra, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like incarnation of Lord Krishna in human form. So Nityananda Prabhu begged him for to pardon them. And of course, later they became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's great devotees, and they were converted by Nityananda Prabhu's compassion. Nityananda Prabhu was totally compassionate, but Naradhama is the lowest of mankind. Like they don't bother about anything, right? They're totally foolish. And next is deluded. Maya aparta jnana. They are deluded intellects, totally they're proud of their intellect. They have no faith in the scriptures, the teachings of the saints. They do not, because they do not have faith, they are unable to surrender to God. They are mostly like very learned people, philosophers, poets, scientists. By their illusionary energy, that misguides them. So what happens? Therefore, they disobey the Supreme Lord. Then the fourth kind of people, Krishna says, is atheistic nature of demons. They have demonic nature. Asuram bhava mashita, asuri nature. So these people, they are aware of God and his purpose in the world, but they want to work against him. The best example I can think of is Ravan, right? It is because of their demonic nature. They do not like God and his glories. They themselves are far from devotion. They will just try to disturb others on the path of spirituality. They surrender to God is not at all expected of them. Like Ravana, Hiranyakashyap. So therefore, grossly foolish persons, lowest of mankind, illusionary, atheistic nature of demons, they will never surrender to the lotus feet of personality of Godhead. So let's see who wants to surrender. Who are the ones? Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukriti norjuna arto jignasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshava.
O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, four kinds of pious man render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of absolute.
Till now we saw four people who do not want to surrender, right? Four categories we saw. Now we will see the four kinds of people who surrender, who take refuge of Krishna. So they are Artho, Jignasur, Artharthi, Jnani. Four people. So the Artho means the distress. They're sad. They find their pot of worldly misery. Worldly misery is overflowing. They are unable to cope up. Then they decide to take shelter of God. They have so many miseries, so much of sadness. So similarly, those who find that worldly support fails to protect them, they turn towards God. Apt example that we can think of is Draupadi. Draupadi in Mahabharata. She surrendered to Krishna, right? When Duryodhan and Dushashan were trying to dishonor her in the courtroom of Hastinapur, right? Second type of person is Jignasu. Jignasu is, they want to seek knowledge. They are curious. They want to know more. They are inquisitive. So inquisitive means what? Eagerness to know. Eagerness to advance in the process of hearing. There are some people who have heard about God and about his spirituality, right? But they're curious to know more about God. They want to know, and they want to know him through knowledge, right? Like Maharaj Parikshit, Abhimanyu's son. He was inquiring from Sukadev Goswami. In Srimad Bhagavatam, you will come to know. There were so many other great rishis there. They were all inquisitive. They wanted to know. The proof that you are inquisitive or not is you are sitting, you are listening, you are eager to hear. Now, you people are, if those of you who are wanting to learn or wanting to hear this, you're inquisitive. You want to know about what is happening, right? Third kind of people are seekers of worldly positions, artharthi, they want wealth. So they're very clear. They're very clear what they want, and they take shelter of God. God, I want this. They're convinced. God can only provide them. Dhruv Maharaj is there. He was very sad, right? He was a small boy. He felt neglected that his dad, his father, Kin Uttanpada, he was not. He was neglecting him. So he was very sad, disheartened. So what did he do? He went into the forest. He did penance to please God. He wanted to become more powerful than his father. He wanted the throne. But as his devotion grew, he realized, right, that God possessed the precious jewel, that is love, divine love, right? And what he was seeking was kind of broken pieces of glass. He wants this, the throne. Whereas once he tasted that, when you taste something higher, the lower thing is like, it's inferior. So he tasted the divine love. So he was really, really pleased once God came down and he was pleased with Dhruv Maharaj's devotion. God gave him darshan, right? He gave him. And he requested God to bestow upon him selfless, pure love Dhruv Maharaj wanted. And the fourth kind of people who are they? Jnani cha bharata shabha Jnani. Jnani means knowledge, those who are situated in knowledge. So they are the souls who understand truth. They know that they are a part and parcel of Krishna, Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? They engage themselves in devotion. Their eternal duty is to love and serve Krishna. So Sri Krishna or Lord Krishna calls him fourth kind of devotees, right? So the sages in Naimisharanya, they wanted to do something good for the people. So they did some yajna in Naimisharanya. So that was those people are Jnanis. Like in the first picture, we can see that who is he? Anyone knows this first picture? Anyone can tell me? Number
Lord
one,
Vishnu.
Gajendra. He is the elephant. When he was in distress, he prayed to Lord. I'll tell you the story. If anyone knows, fine. Otherwise, I'll tell you the story in the end some other time. Number two.
Draupadi.
Yeah, Draupadi. She is also distressed and she is calling out the name of Govinda, right? Krishna. Number three. This is the Vatika Vyasdev's wife. She is carrying Shukadev Goswami in the belly, right? She is carrying him. She is pregnant. Shukadev Goswami refused to come out. He is inquisitive. He wanted to know more about God. Number four is Parikshit Maharaj. He is asking Shukadev Goswami, he is Jignasu. He wants to know more about. So number five, anyone? Number five, Dhruv Maharaj. He wanted something from God, right? He wanted the throne. That's why he prayed to Lord. Number six is Sugriv Maharaj. He wanted help from Lord Ram. He was distressed. And number seven is the sages in Naimisharanya. They do everything for the welfare of humankind. So they are totally in knowledge, jnani. So these four kinds of people take refuge of Lord. Tesham jnani nitya yukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnanino tyartham aham satta mama priyaha.
Of these, the wise one who is in full knowledge in union with me through pure devotional service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me.
So wise ones who are in full knowledge is union with me. So of the four, the distressed, the inquisitive, the seeker of worldly possessions, the seeker after the supreme knowledge, all can become pure devotees, provided they become free from the contamination of material desires, right? And of the four, the devotee who is in full knowledge and is at the same time engrossed and engaged in devotional service, Lord Krishna says, is the best. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha.
After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
Such a great soul is very rare. Samahatma sudurlabha. In this verse, Lord Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is declaring that Jnani spends several lifetimes, cultivating knowledge. And when his jnana or his knowledge matures, does he finally surrender to God? In fact, it is true knowledge that leads to devotion. Um, Prabhu gives, Srila Prabhupada gives an example, he says a man is walking on the beach. I read somewhere, he was walking on the beach, he finds a gold ring, right? He thinks it's an artificial jewelry, maybe 20-30 rupees, he keeps it in pocket and he forgets. After many days, once he goes to his goldsmith friend, he shows the ring, I found this, it's gold ring. It's somewhere worth around, like, it's pure gold, it's worth around 25,000. The man is very happy. He's thrilled. Wow, I got something great. So he started wearing every day because he thought, oh, it's precious now. Then once his uncle came, he thought, I think the stone in your ring is a diamond, It's very precious. It's must be 1.5 lakhs or something. I can give you 1,40,000 if you give it to me. Now he feels he has hit a lottery only straight away. So he loves now. So he knows the value, right? So what does this tell us? This example actually demonstrates the direct relationship between the knowledge. Till he did not have the knowledge of its value, he was not loving it. The moment he knew the value and the knowledge of the ring, he started loving the ring. So when we know, right? When the value of the ring was perceived by the man to be less, the love was less. But then as soon as he came to know the knowledge, he came to have that knowledge that the value is more, his love became more. And the joy that he was getting out of it. So Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna also says, Jnanis, the knowledge they get from several births and deaths, lifetimes, right? They're seeking true knowledge. And when their knowledge matures into true wisdom, that's when Supreme Lord is all that is there. They will come to this knowledge, they will come to understand, and then they will start loving the Lord. The moment they get that knowledge, oh, this is Lord, this is the value, this is what we are running after. Okay, we need to surrender now. We need to surrender to Lord. That's when they come to know the value. They start loving, they fall in love with the Lord, and that's how they seek Lord. But Krishna says in the end, nevertheless, such a great soul is very rare. Samahatma sudurlabha. That such a great soul is very rare. He has termed it very clearly. Kamaistaistairhritagnyanaha prapadyantenya devataha tam tam niyamamasthaya prakritya niyatasvaya.
Those whose mind are distorted by material desire surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature.
Krishna is telling here, but people worship Devatas, right, as to get some material gain. For example, like we have a prime minister of a country, he will appoint different ministers, right, for different departments. We have different ministers. Ministers will have some power locally. They can do some favor to you with their little power that they have. But ultimately, the power lies with prime minister, right? Similarly, Lord Krishna also appoints Devatas for different positions to work for God's creation. They also have some power, but they derive the power from the God, right? They are not independent of him. They can give some, they have power, like ministers can do you some favor, like locally you can do. Similarly, Devatas also have some powers and they can give you something, some material things here and there, right? But they cannot liberate you completely from this whole material existence. They cannot liberate you from the cycle of birth and death, right? Because they themselves cannot be liberated from cycle of birth and death. God alone has the power to do so. Devatas are also like souls like us only, but they have attained this position because they have done some pious deeds from their previous births. On account of that, they have reached that place. But once the whole pious deeds will deplete, they will come back to this material earth again. So, right? Even the Devatas are perishable. So only Krishna is eternal. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktaha shraddhayarchitumicchati tasya tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham.
I am in everyone's heart as a super soul. As soon as one desires to worship the demigods, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to some particular deity.
When he finds people are worshipping to Devatas for the fulfillment of whatever desires they have, what does he do? He helps them to steady their devotion, steady their faith, right? Krishna says here, earlier he has mentioned, Lord Krishna, that those who are in true knowledge, they engage in the highest, most beneficial kind of Shraddha, that is to worship Krishna. But then one may ask, then why Krishna creates faith in people towards Devatas? If it is not appropriate then. See, let us, okay, I can give you example of my grandson only. I have a grandson, small, 2.5 years old. He has a soft toy, okay? So he named it Piku. He plays with it like it's a real person, okay? And he will show all the kinds of love, affection towards it. Now, we as parents and grandparents, we are aware. We are aware of his innocence, right? Yet we encourage this play. Why? So that he can develop the qualities of love, care, affection towards other people. He is showing towards the toy now. He will show slowly that is what these qualities will develop in him, right? So that is why as he is growing up. Similarly, Krishna is our eternal parent. He is aware of our ignorance. We are totally ignorant. So when he sees that we are engaged in the worship of Devatas for material gains, he helps us. He says, okay, let me just steady their faith. Let them understand, let them be. He's aware that this experience that we are having, slowly we will understand everything and we'll move towards the true knowledge. The true knowledge is to know God. He is the ultimate, right? Then we will surrender to him. That's how small babies, how we let them do, we know what is happening. God is doing the similar thing to us also. For lack of example, I gave that. Okay. Sataya Shraddhaya Yuktaha Tasyaradhanamihate Labhate Chatatah Kaman Mayeva Vihitan Hitan.
Endowed with such a faith, he seeks favor of a particular demigod and obtain his desires. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone.
By me alone. Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna again says in this verse that Devatas do not have the capacity to fulfill the material desires of the devotees. They can grant wishes if God permits it. Labhate. See, labhate means to obtain. So the devotees with less understanding, they may think that they have obtained, wow, I've got something, right, after pleasing the Devatas. But it's not the Devatas. God has facilitated. That's what he's trying to tell you here. Antavantu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpamedhasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi.
Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to planets of demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet.
Here again, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is explaining to Arjuna. He's saying spiritual principle is whatever you will aim for, you will get that only. If we worship Devatas, we will go to planets of Devatas upon death, heavenly planets. Lord Krishna says, whereas if you are my devotee, you will come to my abode, Golok Dham, from where you will not come down again. If you go to heavenly planets, your thing is done, you come back again, right? Now, again, there is another question coming to the mind. So when reaching God is the ultimate destination, then why God steadies the faith of those devotees who are worshipping the Devatas, right? Now here, an apt example that we can think of is the kids join primary school. But now they cannot stay at that level forever. They have to be promoted to the next grade. Even though primary school is necessary, students have to outgrow that and keep moving higher and higher, right? Similarly, if we worship Devatas, that's the primary level. We need to outgrow, move, and move towards Bhagavad-Gita. Because Lord Krishna is telling us, Bhagavad-Gita is not for primary school students, right? Who wish to attain Devatas or demigod planets. It's for devotees who are seeking higher purpose. Since Devatas are also perishable, they are also going to go away. The fruits that they will give us are also temporary. They are temporary. What they are giving to us is also temporary. We feel very happy that time. Lord Krishna is imperishable, right? And the fruits of his worship are also everlasting. So those who worship Krishna at the time of death or upon death, we will definitely attain his eternal abode and stay there forever in his service. That's what he says in this shloka. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayah param bhavamajananto mamavyayam.
Unintelligent man who know me not think that I have assumed this form and personality due to their small knowledge. They do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme.
One cannot understand Supreme Personality of Godhead, his form, his quality, simply by just mental speculation. Who is he? We cannot understand like that, right? We have to understand him by devotional service. When we are engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning with Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then we can understand Krishna. Non-devotees, they will think, oh, Krishna has a body, he is made up of material nature, he is doing all his activities, his form, everything is Maya, everything. This is not correct. They do not know the ultimate truth. That's what Krishna is saying over here. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavritah mudho yamna bhijanati loko mamajam avyayam.
I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by my eternal creative potency, Yoga Maya, and so the deluded world know me not, who am unborn and infallible.
See, Krishna, again, Lord Krishna is telling two of his divine energies, he has told, right? He said material energy and super soul energy, so superior energy, sorry. So now what he's saying, he talks about his third and most powerful energy, Yoga Maya. He is here telling, like Sri Vishnu, Supreme Lord Sri Vishnu has three energies, like Yoga Maya, superior Maya energy, and material energy, right? So three. So even in present, if we are fortunate enough to see the Lord in his personal, we cannot recognize him. We don't have that eligibility, right? His divine vision, the Yogmaya keeps God concealed from all of us. So it may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone then, when he was present on the earth, how can it be said that he's not manifest, to be known as Bhagavan, right, to everyone? When Krishna was present, only few people know he was Krishna. He was Supreme Personality of Bhishma knew. Bhishma knew, Pandavas knew, few others also knew he was Supreme Personality of God, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees or common people, right? So he was only known to them. Vedaham samatitani vartamani cha Arjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana.
O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all the living entities, but me, no one knows.
He's saying in this verse, he's declaring that I know past, I know present, I know future, right? Most of us, we forget everything. We don't even know what happened few hours ago. But he is omniscient. He knows everything. He remembers, he keeps the record of everything, each of our words, each of our deeds, even the thoughts of each individual soul in the universe. He keeps all the record for the infinite lifetimes. You can imagine now. So nothing goes unnoticed. You are thinking something that also goes into the record. So Lord says over here, he has the knowledge of everything, the past, the present, the future. Only by God's grace can one know him. So our mental intellect does not have the capacity to know him otherwise, right? Suppose your boss is having a meeting, or your teacher is teaching in the college a new topic, or some meeting is going on. You're late for the meeting or the class for some reason, maybe the rain or some traffic jam or whatever. You enter and you sit. Will you understand anything? You're totally confused. What is going on? Because you don't know what is going on, right? Because you joined late. But we are always confused. We don't remember. We do not understand anything. But Krishna, he knows everything about the past. He knows about the present life. And he also knows about our future. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandvamoha nirmuktaha bhajante mam dridhavrataha.
Persons who have acted piously in the previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination.
That's what Krishna says over here. It's very difficult for sinful people, foolish people, deceitful people to rise above the duality of desire and hate. He says that people who are acting piously, they are away from these dualities of hatred and desire. They surrender to Krishna with complete determination and willpower. They do not seek pleasure in this material world. Neither they are averse to pain. They're very careful what they are saying, what they are doing, how they are dealing with this material happiness or pleasure, in case they get misled again. So they're very careful about whatever they are doing. That's what Krishna says over here. Sadhi bhutadi daivam mam sadhi yagyam cha ye viduhu ayana kale picha mam e viduryukta chetasaha.
Those who know me as the Supreme Lord, as the governing principle of the material manifestation, who know me as the one underlying all the demigods and as one sustaining all sacrifices, can, with steadfast mind, understand and know me even at the time of the death.
Even at the time of death. In this word, what Lord Krishna is saying is, he mentions about those enlightened souls, who know him, who are devoted to him. Even at the time of death, they are full consciousness of him. Such true devotees, they attend his Golok Dham, So how can we remember God at the time of death? Death is a very painful journey. It's very difficult to remember anything at that state, right? When you're dying, you can imagine. How to remember him then? So Lord Krishna says that those enlightened beings who are always ever filled with devotion to God, their mind, intellect, everything, all surrendered to God, all attached to God, all attached to Krishna. So their bodies are beyond pleasure and pain, right? Even at the time of death. Naturally, is definitely promoted to the planet of Supreme Lord, Golok Vrindavan. So this whole 7th chapter in particular is explaining to us how to become fully Krishna conscious. So let's see the summary. Glories of knowledge about Krishna we learned, knowledge about Krishna's energy, surrendering, how we have to surrender to Krishna, demigod worship, and delusion to devotion. In the next chapter, Krishna will talk about, in 8th chapter, he will talk about Adi Bhuta, Adi Deva, and Adi Yajna in 8th chapter. Let's all say together, Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama Rama Hare
Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama,
Rama Rama Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.